Welcome back to Bleacher Brawls, the home of the greatest rivalry in professional sports between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. We have our typical Sunday night, Monday morning episode coming at you. It's our rivalry show. We talk a little Sox and a little Yanks. We have guys from both sides. My name's Pat. I'm here with Luke and John. My allergies are absolutely killing me tonight, so I'm going to kind of stand in the background. I'm going to knock it up so these guys can set them down and let these two do what they do best, which is go back and forth and get really upset with each other. We're going to talk all the news of the week. There are a couple particular players I want to highlight if these guys don't, but I'm sure they're good at what they do. They'll bring them up. So we will start, as we always do, with the first pitch, checking with these guys, see how they're doing. John, I will start with you because it looks like you are going to still be undefeated in fantasy baseball.
Yeah. I mean, look, it was a good weekend all around, and as far as fantasy baseball is concerned, I'm not gonna front. I've never played before, so my draft, I think I had a good draft, and I got lucky. My first week or two, I got lucky, but now that I've kind of started to figure it out, hopefully I could keep the momentum going. Obviously, I know more about baseball than anybody, and this seems to just be proving it. Other than that, though, yeah, good weekend. The Yankees, I think we're going to probably talk about it. They have, obviously swept the Reds, which we will talk about. DFA'd Aaron Hicks, which I think we'll likely talk about. So all in all, things are going well. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. Other than my allergies, which have been killing me this weekend and left me basically inside because I was afraid of the outside air. Luke, how are you doing?
I'm just looking over John's fantasy team right now. It looked pretty underwhelming. Oh, gee. I thought I was muted for a second. I'm sorry. It looked pretty underwhelming to me until just now, and I just looked at his team. It's quietly a very, very, very solid team. Marcus Semien having a great start to the year is obviously helping things a lot, but not really any holes in that lineup. So I don't know, good for you.
Everybody on my fantasy team loves Hunter Renfroe. They say he's the best teammate they could possibly have.
Yeah, because it's all virtual and they've never met him. I'm doing good. I'm excited. My 7-year-old's softball playoffs begin on Monday. It's her first foray into any postseason play. She doesn't know that because she doesn't know what postseason play means. But I'm looking forward to it, seeing how the girls can do under pressure. And by pressure, I mean no pressure at all because it's just another game to them. And that's really what it should feel like to everybody. You get into the playoffs, then you should just treat it like every other game because when you're playing baseball, the more you get, the more hyped up you get, the more you're going to screw up more times than not. But while we're talking about softball, last year I did while my daughter was cheerleading, I had some insight into Texas sports that I was happy to share on the podcast, and I've got some today about the world of Texas youth softball. So in this league that my daughter's in, I won't use the team names or anybody's real names just in case anybody happens to listen to this. I don't want to be ostracized from the softball community because I intend to stick around it for quite a while. There's the two best teams in this softball league, the 7-year-old girls softball league. So they are managed, the two best teams, they are managed, they have a guy manages the best team, a woman manages the second best team. They are husband and wife. So a husband manages the best team, and his wife manages the second best team. And these teams were assembled by these two, this husband and wife. They drafted their teams, and then they traded among each other. They put all the best players on one team and all the not as good players on the other team so that one team would be insanely good and the other team would still be pretty good. So the team where they took all of the best players from the draft of these two separate teams. So they just made essentially an A team and a B team. This A team is undefeated, and they have not even played a 6-inning game yet because they have mercy ruled everybody that they've played. So they get 4, maybe 5 innings into the game, and then it's over. And the B team is still the second best team in the league. There's only 8 teams in the league. So just a little insight into Texas sports, everybody. If you don't live down here, then there's a you'd be pretty surprised, especially if you're from my neck of the woods in Massachusetts, where youth sports is mostly about, oh, let's get the kids out there and so they can have fun. It's a cutthroat industry down here, and it's all about winning from a very early age. And those are shady practices that everybody in the league, all the parents in the league know what's happening. Nobody likes it, but apparently they're not breaking any rules. I feel like trades, interteam trades for 7-year-olds should not be legal. But what do I know? I'm still new to all of this. So just very interesting. You learn something new just about every week, even 3 years into living in Central Texas.
All right, but like, I would love to point out something just from a coaching perspective. Why would you want to win every game? Because you don't learn anything. You're not really building a competitive spirit. Like, you want these girls, you want your kids to lose a little bit in order to make them better. Like, yeah, get that feeling of losing so you don't want it again. Yeah, I don't understand it because I experienced it too, like in our little league for a little while, and it's strange down here as far as like that mentality is concerned. I don't get it. And especially as like a father or a coach of daughters, I have 2 daughters that I'm teaching to play sports. Especially with girls, it's really at that age you want them to have fun so they actually want to come back. Like when I coached, I had one girl that was there because she absolutely wanted to be there. I had a couple girls that were there like, okay, maybe this is fun. And then the rest of the girls were there because their parents were forcing them to be there. So I think my success as a T-ball coach, one of the greatest girls T-ball coaches of all time, was the fact that all 10 of the girls on my team went back to play another season. And I actually made it fun. And I think that is more important than trying to dominate at a 7-year-old level. But what do I know? You know, I'm not a
My daughter.
Texas
I didn't even make the cut as a coach this year. I signed up to be an assistant coach, but the coach, the head coach, I wasn't going to sign up to be a head coach because who needs that? But the head coach already had his own crew of assistants. He had 3 assistant coaches already. So I'm just like a volunteer that kind of helps and practices and does the scoreboard and the scorebook at the game sometimes. So he already had his own crew, his own ready-made crew when at the beginning of the season before the draft even happened. And then it was, so he's also got he's had the same. All of those coaches obviously have kids on the team. They've all been playing together for 3 years. So that's another thing about Texas sports is like coaches get these kids at a young age, and then the best ones, they just come up playing together from a really young age, which wasn't a thing at all in Massachusetts where I live. You played with all different people every single year, and if you happen to get the same teammate, 2 straight years, it's like, oh, whoa, that's crazy. We ended up on the same team because it was pretty much at random. Like your name was getting picked out, like with the NBA lottery almost, but not down here. It's you get a team and you keep them together, and so I think a lot of the really good players are going to be playing together like through high school, like so 12 years theoretically with each other.
And the fact that they're so okay with stacking the deck explains why they're so okay with the cheating Astros and just tainting the baseball for seasons at a time. That just makes sense why they can be Astros fans down here, because they're just so accepting of cheating or stacking the deck or whatever you want to call it when it comes to baseball. They're terrible. Just stick to football, Texas. I love you. I consider myself a Texan for the most part, but stick to football. Stay away from baseball.
The Yankee fan getting very indignant about other teams cheating.
Excuse me?
Listen, we didn't even put all the sticky stuff in the agenda this week, so consider yourself lucky.
Oh my God!
I'll work it in.
Do I need? Fine, we'll defend it. Domingo Germán got railroaded by a crew that was trying to save face.
Okay, let's talk the good news. Okay, so your outfield is finally coming together. Okay, Aaron Judge returns back to MVP quote unquote form, and you also DFA Aaron Hicks, which I think is arguably the best news in Yankee world this week. Give me the rundown.
Talk about getting railroaded. Aaron Hicks, the poor guy.
The Yankees just never gave him a chance to be successful. That's when Aaron Hicks really lost me, because I've said it before, I really liked him for a stretch there during his injury years where he was a really good player. And the past 2 years he struggled, and last year when he said that the Yankees don't set you up for success when he's been giving a million chances, he really lost me at that point. With Aaron Hicks, it's surprising just because there was so much time and money left on the deal. Not like it's a ton of money. It was $10 million a year, but 3 years left on the deal, and the Yankees just ate it. Another example, again, of just how terrible Brian Cashman can be when it comes to judging talent or valuing talent and giving out long-term deals for a guy that nobody else was going to be bidding against, at that level anyway. No one was giving Aaron Hicks a 7-year deal, so Cashman just does not know what he's doing sometimes. But all outside of that, things are looking good in the Yankees outfield. Judge is just Aaron Judge again. Absolute. I don't know if he'll win the MVP again, but he was the MVP last year, and he's certainly really gotten hot over the past couple of days. Harrison Bader is just a spark plug, man. That guy's something else. He's come back with a fire since he's got back from injury. And left field now, I guess that kind of Jake Bauers in left field seems to be doing all right. I don't know how long that's going to last. I don't know how this is going to play out. But for the time being, guy's not bad at all.
I think one thing I want to kind of point to right now is because Baltimore swept Toronto this weekend, Toronto, who is basically trying to create their own rivalry with the Yankees, is now in last place, which I'm just getting a big kick out of, and I wanted to mention.
That was the most frustrating series because that is a team that is on. They were free falling. They went from second or third. Maybe at one point they were second place, but they just nosedived into the basement. They're trying to act like they're something special. A bunch of entitled nepo babies, a bunch of second generation players that played in the best baseball academies and got every chance they could. And they're just whining all series long for the stupidest stuff, which I know we're going to get into because I can see the look on Luke's face. He can't wait to throw it out there. But even today, John Snyder, yesterday, the Blue Jays had to pull Alex Manoah because John Snyder went out there and did a second mound visit, so he had to pull him, but didn't realize he had to pull him. So the fact that you have that happened for the Blue Jays today for John Schneider, I think they really need to worry about themselves and start trying to create a rivalry and create controversy when there is none with the Yankees. This is a team that's in trouble, and Schneider's probably not going to finish the season at this rate.
Luke, I can tell you're chomping at the bit, so go for it.
I think the Judge coming back has definitely been obviously a huge boost for the Yankees. He's got 7 home runs in 7 games, I think, and he's obviously the bat they need in the middle of that lineup. And even with Stanton gone, going from not having Judge to having Judge in the middle of the lineup makes it that lineup so much thicker, like a respectable lineup. And they did well treading water without him, because on paper that's a gross lineup, an offensive lineup to a team with that kind of payroll and just with that kind of reputation. I mean, the New York Yankees trotting out that lineup the way it looked like without Judge was definitely probably a pretty embarrassing sight for Yankee fans. As for John Schneider, props to him for standing up for what's right. We need more people like that in the game. People that aren't going to be intimidated by the big bad bully who's just gonna say, like the rich kid, walking into the schoolyard, with the nicest clothes, pulling up in the brand new Mustang, pulling into the parking lot, like, I'm gonna run the show. John Schneider, he's the ordinary Joe that's gonna step right up to him and watch the rich kid push other people around. So you're not gonna do that. You're not going to do that. You're not going to get away with that. You're not going to shove around the little guys. Because, look, I mean, Domingo Germán, Aaron Judge, Clark Schmidt, and Wandy Peralta all got caught cheating, all within 1 week. So how much cheating is going on that they're getting away with that nobody has the guts to bring to light, like a guy with brass balls like John Schneider. So I think the Yankees, things are looking really good for the Yankees now that Judge is back. Stanton's probably going to be back soon. Carlos Rodon may be back soon. The only barrier that could be in the Yankees' way from having another really good season like last season could be the umpires, because the umpires, if they're going to keep on actually enforcing Major League rules and not let the Yankees cheat, then that could really be a stalling point for the Yankees this year.
Luke, I'm not saying you don't understand baseball. I'm saying you don't understand how baseball works. If a pitcher is tipping...
Plagiarized that.
If a pitcher is tipping pitches, that is the pitcher's fault, and there is no cheating involved. And the Blue Jays pitcher admitted with the Aaron Judge scenario, he admitted that he was tipping pitches, and then they sent him down to the minors for tipping pitches. That was a bunch of... Dan Schneider and Buck Martinez were just two announcers that were being whiny. They embarrassed themselves by trying to create a controversy that was not there. And yet, that's what happens. In 2001, the Yankees, one of the reasons the Yankees lost that World Series was that Andy Pettitte was tipping pitches. At no point did I ever say, oh my God, that's so unfair that the Diamondbacks picked up on the fact that that Andy Pettitte was tipping pitches. That's horrible. It shouldn't. Come on, man. Like, what kind of Gen Z stuff is that, Luke? You're really gonna come here with that millennial whining, like, oh, it's not fair. It's not fair. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is the game. If you tip pitches, and people are gonna pick up on that. And there's no stealing signs. You think they were stealing signs? They use a pitch con. There's no more stealing signs. So I don't even know how that could be coming into play. Where that's kind of the accusation there. Like, you're using the pitch com. The Yankees aren't tapping into the pitch com. So all that was just complete and utter nonsense. The Blue Jays embarrassed themselves. Their announcing crew embarrassed themselves. And the fact that you threw that in with the whole rosin thing, you knew better than that. You were just trying to stick it to Yankee fans. You know baseball better than that. The rosin thing, like, Domingo Germán got railroaded. That's the same crew that went easy on him a couple weeks ago and got Rocco Baldelli to go crazy. I shouldn't say went easy, but they realized it wasn't an issue, and Rocco Baldelli went crazy, and then it became an issue, so they had to go out there and save face, and they were going to throw him out of the game no matter what. He could have had no rosin on his hand, and they were going to go out there and say it was too much anyway. So that's what happened. Clark Schmidt, nothing with Clark Schmidt. He went out and pitched. He didn't get thrown out of the game. Wandy Peralta didn't get thrown out of the game, so I don't even know where this is coming from. You're allowed to have rosin, and the fact that if there's an issue with how much rosin you're using, then make a rule about it. There is no rule. No one's doing anything wrong. It's all the umpire's discretion, which is a mistake anyway. So, Germán got railroaded, and nobody else did anything wrong. So there was no cheating this weekend. And if there was cheating, the Yankees deserve to and should be allowed to cheat because they got screwed 3 years in a row between the Astros and your Red Sox. So they should be allowed to cheat. Shouldn't even be, like, baseball owes it to them, so I don't even have a problem with it.
So they didn't cheat at all. But, say they did cheat, then good. They should be allowed to cheat. David Bell got ejected today because Wandy Peralta was pulling a Wilson Contreras and doing shady ways to get around the pitch clock violation. So he did cheat. And a manager got rung up for it.
He's smart.
And Domingo Germán got railroaded. He had black stuff all over his waist, and the umpires said, "Oh, it was the stickiest hand I've ever felt."
All four of them said they had never felt something like that before
they said the same thing about Max Scherzer, though. That's just what they're gonna say because you have to defend yourself. They said the same thing. Max Scherzer just 2 weeks ago had the stickiest hand ever, and you guys, I know you guys are both out of market. Go back and watch the game because you can see when Germán comes out, he has a whole wad of dip in his mouth, which I know he's not supposed to have, but he has a wad of dip, and he takes it out and then wipes it on his pants, and you see the black mark from the dip. It's disgusting, don't get me wrong, but he takes out his mouth and just wipes it on his hand, and that's where the black mark came from. It's on the television broadcast. You see him do it.
I'm just saying, I've never seen thicker cheeks than Rafi Devers, and I've never seen a black mark on his uniform. So.
No, then he's not wiping his hand on it. It's on TV. You can see him do it. Then Rafi Devers is more sanitary and doesn't wipe his hands on his uniform.
But they're all these pitchers are getting their hands checked every game. And they go. So the one guy that they made wash his hands, twice in one game a couple weeks ago? And now they feel his hand again and say, all right, this is the stickiest hand I've ever felt. I feel pitchers' hands all the time. This is really sticky, and they kick him out of the game. It's like, oh, come on, that was nothing. They would have done that anyway. They would have said it was the
They were
stickiest
trying to
hand
save
ever.
face. It was a controversy. They made themselves look bad. It's like, oh, we have to go back and we have to crack this guy's Coyones because like we looked bad. We think we looked bad a few weeks ago. That's all that was. He did nothing wrong. He might not even had rosin on his hand, and they were all going to say that. Like he got framed.
And you and Judge need to get your story straight, because Judge himself said, "Oh, I wasn't looking at any signals or anything. I just, the guys on my bench were barking with the guys on the Blue Jays bench."
Okay.
So I was like, "Oh, what are they saying?"
That's what I wanted to bring up, Luke, because that is, who knows what he was actually looking at, okay? The fact that he said, I was looking at them to tell them to stop chirping because Booney had already been tossed. Like, what? Are you kidding me? These guys are hanging on the front rail of the dugout, and they see Judge just give him the quickest side eye in the world, and they all just shut up all of a sudden.
Guys, stop. I think he just looked at us. Stop.
No. Look, this is my fault because I've created this atmosphere where have been complaining for years about how the Astros and Red Sox cheated, and now everybody's hypersensitive because, like, ad nauseum, I have not let this go. I have not shut up about it. It's really been me and other Yankees fans. So now Aaron Judge is in a position where what can he say? No matter what he says, it's going to be a controversy. Tipping pitches is just gamesmanship. It's not cheating or picking up on a pitcher tipping pitches. It's just gamesmanship. He didn't do anything wrong, but he was in a bad position because of me, and I take full responsibility for that. So, Aaron Judge, I'm sorry that I put you in that position. You answered the question the best you could. That's 100% my fault.
For the record, I've got nothing against players diagnosing pitchers when they're tipping pitches. All I know is that was kind of weird the way his eyes were like in a mystery movie or something, like the shifty-eyed character looking all over the place.
He's like a painting in a Scooby-Doo cartoon. You know?
Bad enough that the announcers, including a former major league player, noticed it. And then you said Judge was doing one thing, and Judge himself after the game said he was doing another thing. It's all, usually when there's smoke, there's fire. Who knows what other cheating's going on with the Yankees organization? I mean, it's been 13 years without a championship. I can't say I'm surprised. They're desperate.
Just let it go, John. Let's talk about the Red Sox, shall we? So right now,
Fourth place Red Sox.
Yeah, we actually, we keep talking about how the Yankees are, floundering, but they're 29-20 right now. They're in third place in the toughest division in baseball. The Red Sox are 2 games back at 26-21. That 21st loss today, Luke. Ay, what a tough one. Corey Kluber, I'll let you go.
Corey Kluber makes me sick. He never gave the Red Sox a chance today. Never once did they have a chance. They were down 4-0 before. Well, no, they were the away team, so they batted once. But before they got into the second inning, they were down 4-0, and the Padres had only gotten one hit, and that one hit was a double by Rougned Odor, who I didn't even realize was still in the league, on a 3-2 curveball, or might have been a changeup. That whatever it was a slow pitch that it was the only pitch Kluber could get over the plate. So everyone in the park knew he was going to throw it because nothing else that he was throwing went over the plate. It was taking candy from a baby. It was 4-0 really before the Red Sox even had a chance. Really disgusting effort from Corey Kluber today. After the Red Sox took the series. I'm happy. They're on the road against what should be a very good team and hasn't been, but they won the series against the Padres with 2 really good wins Friday and Saturday, so that's great. This Kluber issue is not going to go away though. And that's got to be a deflating thing. You're down 4-0 right away. As a team, that's got to be just so deflating. You see something like that happens. You're in the field, you're watching it happen. You're half expecting it to happen anyway. He walked 3 guys and made an error in that bottom of the first inning. The Padres had 4 runs on 1 hit in the first inning. They had 6 hits in the whole game. Won 7-0 with 6 hits. The Red Sox had 7 hits, didn't score any runs. It's just it's almost like a forfeit almost when you feel like that, and Kluber's teammates must feel like I've had an experience. It made me think of an experience like this when I was in fourth grade on field day. There were different events we were going to be doing, and I was always into baseball. One of the events was the first event of the day. It was a softball toss. So we all had softballs and we break up into pairs. We couldn't break up into pairs on our own. It was just we got paired together by the teacher. And I was paired with the girl. Everyone's had a girl like this in their class before. The girl who really couldn't do anything, didn't talk to anybody, like didn't ever do anything right. The clumsy girl like that, like you'd feel terrible for if you weren't in fourth grade, and all fourth graders are little jerks, especially fourth grade boys. So everyone made fun of her all the time. She couldn't do anything athletic whatsoever. And like I got paired with her, and I was like, I already lost this because it was a softball toss, and you go in pairs, and whoever, if one of the people drops a ball, you're out, and the last pair standing wins. And the first ball I threw to her was right to her, and she dropped it. And I'm like, what was the point of this? I knew I was going to lose right when I came in. And that's probably how the Red Sox are feeling when Corey Kluber goes out there. Now, we got rid of Ryan Brazier. That's great. We got Nick Pivetta to the bullpen, so we're getting rid of a lot of the detritus, pushing it off to the side, but there's still, the job's not done yet. And I mean, Kluber is the guy that he's got to be the next pin to fall.
I thought it was, I don't know, I got a kick out of Pivetta coming in, right? It was like, okay, Nick, you've been in the bullpen, you've been pissy for 5 days. Come on out, show him how it's done, right? And he just can't come out clean. He gives up a run in his 2 1/3, and it just kind of felt like, today it was never going to happen. First 2 wins were good wins, I think. San Diego, I believe it to be true, just like I said about St. Louis last week, I guess it was. Should be better than they are, right? They're still a competitive team. Yeah, they have a losing record, but, it could go either way, I think. And first 2 wins were good wins. Great pitching performances by Paxton and Sale. Last night by Sale, you can't draw it up any better. 7 by Sale, an inning by Chris Martin, an inning by Kenley Jansen. That's how you win baseball games, And I thought it was a good series. Today, obviously, demoralizing, not crazy. Going into Anaheim the next couple of days, that's another team that, it could go either way with them. And so I feel like we're in a good place. 8th best record in baseball right now. I'll take it.
8th best record in baseball or the American League?
Oh, you know what? Hold on.
I'm not sure. I'm not correcting you. I'm just.
6th best. No, they'd be in first place in the Central, and the only
it's in baseball.
Wow.
I got it right.
Eighth best record in baseball, 4th place in their division. That's how good the American
they are
League
9th
is.
Today after the loss, to correct myself.
Okay.
But yeah.
And the Blue Jays are still alone in last, right?
The last place Blue Jays.
The last place Blue Jays. God bless John Schneider. But yes, the Blue Jays are in last place. I saw a crazy tweet today. I'll see if I can pull it up here. This was entering today, so it's not accurate anymore, but run differential by division. Buster Olney tweeted this out this morning, I think. AL East plus 225. So all the teams in the division combined have a run differential of plus 225. NL Central is plus 13. AL West is minus 8. NL West is minus 11. NL East is minus 58. AL Central is minus 161. So only 2 divisions in baseball with all the teams combined have a positive run differential. One of them has a run differential of plus 13, and the other one is the AL East with a run differential of plus 225. There's no way anything like this has ever happened before.
And it's crazy you mentioned the AL Central, how bad their run differential is. You have probably the best division in baseball history, and now AL Central could end up being the worst division in baseball history. There's a chance that The Twins are above 500 by 3 games, but so there's a chance that every team in the AL Central can finish below 500, and every team in the AL East can finish above 500. Like, do you guys think that's even possible, or what are the odds on that? Is that a question for Derek, really?
I thought it was going to happen last year, and it damn near did. I think. I mean, the Red Sox won 78 games. That's pretty close.
Yeah, except for the Red Sox, every other team was good, and the Red Sox, according to Red Sox fans anyway, like that was a garbage team. What 3 games under 500?
Right, exactly. Luke, you busted out the tweets. I want to pull out one of my own because I want to talk about Chris Sale. His last 4 starts, 6 1/3, 1 earned run, 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 8 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 7 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. That's from Boston Strong on Twitter. Red Sox Twitter knows who that is. Chris Sale, is he back?
Well, I'll take those numbers a little further. In his last 4 starts, that's since the Baltimore game where he might have been tipping pitches. I don't think the Orioles were cheating. The Orioles picked up on what he was laying down, clearly, where he didn't get like any swings and he got 2 swings and misses in 4 or 5 innings, whatever it was, 5 innings. So in his last 4 starts since that game, 27 1/3 innings pitched, 7 earned runs, 16 hits, 32 strikeouts, 3 walks, for a 3-0 record and a 2.32 ERA against the Guardians, the Phillies, the Cardinals, and the Padres. So those are all teams who have not had great starts to the season, but who all have very good lineups, and I expect all to do better, to finish the season a lot better than they are right now. So take that for what it is, but Chris Sale pitched like an ace against 4 accomplished lineups, really good players. Now that he's acclimated again to being a starting pitcher after essentially 3 years off, it seems like he's rediscovering what made him such a good pitcher, finding his rhythm. He's got the velo back in the high 90s on the fastball. He's got that slider biting again, going to the back foot of righties, darting away from lefties. I think he's trending toward becoming a legitimate ace again. The only thing that can stop him is injury. And that isn't, look, nothing's going to stop him because the only thing that can stop him is this kind of thing. It's still be afraid. Red Sox fans, be very afraid of injury because, I feel like every starting pitcher in Major League Baseball is just tiptoeing through a minefield, hoping that they don't get their friggin' leg blown off because they just drop like flies all the time. Because everyone throws 100 miles an hour and arms don't work like that yet. We got millions of years of evolution still for people to be born with arms being able to do that without getting hurt all the time. Keeping my fingers crossed every time he throws a pitch, but he looks great, and I never thought we'd see this version of Chris Sale again.
I'm still thinking comeback player of the year, but we'll see.
Oh, no doubt. I can't think of anybody else who would be even in the galaxy for comeback player of the year if he pitches all season, which is a huge if.
John, you're muted.
Oh, he was tipping pitches.
That's what I was. I'm sure. But anyway, I was gonna say with Chris Sale, like the biggest thing what I've been saying since the beginning is you're gonna have to worry about fatigue. So the fact that Alex Cora let him throw 111 pitches this early in the season, like why aren't they capping it at like 80 pitches? And we're like, all right, look, man, like we're gonna save you from yourself because you're just gonna go all out and you're gonna try to strike everybody out. You're gonna try to blow people away and you're gonna go as deep into games as possible. Like we're capping you at 80 pitches for now, and we'll start building you up come July.
I think he knew he was going to have to throw the kitchen sink the next day, following up Corey Kluber. So try and get him through 7. And also, he was facing the bottom of that Padres order, which was just a black hole right now.
No, it's like, no, I'm amen to Cora doing that. Because what are we doing here? There's a point where We spent 3 years protecting this guy from himself, wrapping him up in bubble wrap, and he still found every possible way to injure himself. So just get on out there and do what you do. Do what we want you to be able to. You got 2 years left on your contract, so we're done with the kid gloves here. If you can't do what you were originally signed by some dingbat to do, well, the extension anyway, then all right, get hurt and we'll move on. So it's like, if you can't do it, then okay, at least we might as well know now rather than later. Like the 80 pitches, it's mid-May. What, we gonna hold his hand until July and be like, all right, turn it loose now? I mean, come on, what is he, 34?
Yeah, if you don't have him come July, you'll be regretting that.
But it would have happened anyway. If I gotta figure those 21 pitches in May, like I could understand if you're talking about a 25-year-old who's only been playing 120 game seasons in the minors for a few years, but it's just like I understand. Yeah, what you're saying makes sense from a normal point of view, but I'm sick of it, and that's probably not what it's probably a lot more calculated than what I'm thinking. But it's like, if I'm the manager, I'm thinking like, yeah, just, go to it. And he's probably thinking, well, he is probably going to get hurt sooner or later anyway, so I'm just going to make the most use of him now as I can. Let's make sure we get this one win.
Let's move on, guys. I know one thing we're going to do over the next couple of weeks because, we want this to be the rivalry show, right? We've seen a little hint of it back and forth tonight, but we don't want this to be a little Red Sox time, a little Yankees time. One thing we want to do is we want to kind of directly compare the two teams because they're very equally matched right now, I feel like, in terms of records and what kind of baseball they're playing. And so one thing we're going to do for the next couple episodes is break down the two teams position by position and just kind of compare and go through and see in what points does each team have some weaknesses, which team comes out on top in a position battle. You get the idea. We're going to start tonight with the infield. And we didn't establish if we're talking about the catcher. I think we're just doing the four. No. Okay. Just the four infield positions. My allergies are killing me. I got to blow my nose. I'm going to let these guys go back and forth. Luke, I'll let you take it over.
I think start at first base, which gets things off on the right foot for John here. I think you got to take Anthony Rizzo over Tristan Casas, though Casas has been improving. Casas is getting those walks now. He's getting those hard hits now.
He hit third yesterday.
Yeah, he hit third in the lower. I don't know how he did, but I missed most of the game. But I mean, the team is showing that they're behind him. They're gonna stick with him, and it's coming. Just his quality of at bats have been getting better. He's smoked a couple really, really hard home runs lately, the past couple weeks. But I mean, Anthony Rizzo is, far more than just a more proven commodity in the major leagues. He's the second biggest part of that Yankee lineup. I mean, at worst, once Stanton comes back, he's the third most important Yankee to the offense. So, I mean, Rizzo's the clear winner at first base. The Yankees are the clear winner at first base.
Yeah, I fully agree. Obviously, big shout out to Barnes because Rizzo was always his guy. He was always the first guy to really give it up for Rizzo. So Rizzo's been the man. A lot of big hits for the Yankees, big leadership role, like real leadership role. Elite lockdown first base defender, and he's significantly better than the Red Sox version of Gary Sanchez that you guys have at first base.
This version of Gary Sanchez, no, because Casas would have had to have come out really hot right away to be Gary Sanchez and then do awful.
This is hot for Casas. He's gonna have 100, under 200. He's gonna hit really hard home runs, but that'll be it. He'll have like 25 hits for the season, and 23 of them will be home runs. Sanchez,
great defense too. So the Sanchez parallel is incredibly weak.
He's also, just to throw this out there quickly, playing a little bit less than I thought he would. I think that they really want to get some of these outfield guys in the lineup so they're not afraid to DH Yoshida and let Turner play a little first and let Casas sit. I don't know. I've just found that interesting so far. He's heated up a little bit recently, but yeah, Anthony Rizzo, obviously, longtime vet, World Series champ.
And before we wrap on Casas, I do have to say, so for a while he was hitting 120, OBP under 300. Under like 250, I think, for a while. He's up to 178, which isn't saying much, but his OBP is up to 313 now. So and his OPS is at 677. The average is bad. The OPS is bad. But you look at that OBP, and that's going to be his calling card. It's at 313. It's creeping up. His average has been creeping up too, but the OBP is really creeping up, and that's why the Red Sox love him so much. He gets on base.
Yeah, he's Red Sox version of Gary Sanchez. You're saying all the things that are like, oh, Gary Sanchez is good on base guy, blah, blah.
Defense.
He's the Red Sox version of Gary Sanchez. I'm sorry. You'll see.
Defense.
Yeah, I haven't seen him play yet. I'm sure he's staying.
Sorry, y'all. I was trying to look up this. I know that the Red Sox have just like they have the 5th least strikeouts in the entire league right now, which was definitely a big problem last year. Anyway, moving on. John, second base.
Oh, Gleyber Torres. I'm assuming we're going to do Gleyber Torres at second and DJ LeMahieu at third. So, Gleyber Torres, absolutely. He's been another good cog to the Yankees. I don't know who this Valdez guy is for you. He's played 20 major league games so far. Yeah, so, I know it looks like he has an okay batting average, a couple home runs, but it's also 20 games, whereas Gleyber Torres is a bit more of a proven player. So, I haven't seen Valdez play. I don't know anything about him. Maybe he'll change my opinion when I see him. But for now, Gleyber Torres is proven this guy is a nobody. And Torres has had some big hits. He's a streaky hitter. But, I obviously have to take Torres over whoever this guy is.
I remember, 2 weeks into the season, it was from John, from Barnes, from Kassam. It was, finally, Torres is back. He's back to what he was in 2018. This is what we've been waiting for. We knew he could do it, and now he's back because he had a good 2 weeks. And now he's hitting, his slash line is 253, 340 OBP, 418 slugging, 758 OPS. John, I know you're not familiar with Emmanuel Valdez, but...
Wait, can you give me those numbers again? I'm sorry.
This is before today's game, I think, so it could have changed. 253 average, 340 OBP, 418 slugging, 758 OPS.
Oh, so he's comparable to Rafael Devers is what you're saying. Just for the record, Devers, 253 average, 296 on-base percentage. So those are pretty close numbers, just for the record. If you're gonna throw those numbers out there to knock Gleyber Torres,
what's Devers' OPS? What's Devers' OPS?
OPS, okay, 829. So that's higher.
Okay, it's to 758.
296 on base. Yeah, well, I'm just saying, those numbers are a lot closer. Pat, you can laugh all you want. I thought that was maybe you sneezing.
I got a kick out of it. I'm not saying you're wrong. But I'm just saying, if you're going to throw out stats, and they're going to say, oh, well, this is just what Gleyber Torres is, if those stats hold up for Devers too, I'm just having a hard time understanding why there's the exception. Listen, I didn't say you were wrong. I got a kick out of it. I do also want to say that Valdez, you said you don't know who he is. I don't know if you watched the Bleacher Balls YouTube channel. Luke and Derek did an entire video about how he's the next Manny Ramirez. But go ahead, Luke.
I
don't know if we said exactly that. He had some tendencies, and the number I don't have Devers' numbers in front of me, but I'm sure they were correct. I mean, he's overlooking the league leading 13 home runs and I think second or third in RBIs too, but that's okay. We don't have to cover all of the numbers, I guess. But Emmanuel Valdez, by comparison to Torres, has a slash line of 293 average, 349 OBP, 517 slugging, and an 866 OPS. So he basically squashes Torres in every slash line except OBP, where he's only up on him by 900ths of a point. But I'm not. I don't expect you to know who Valdez is. I mean, as of right now, he's better. He's better than Gleyber Torres. He is. So I take him. I take Emmanuel Valdez. When you come up in the, how often? I mean, how many players can you name off the top of your head who come into the league their first 20 games, get off to a really hot start, and then just fizzle away into nothing? And I'm talking about Gary Sanchez. I mean, he wasn't hitting
so Valdez is the
293
Sanchez.
at any
So you have
point.
2 Gary Sanchez on the Red Sox. That's all I heard.
He wasn't getting on. Sanchez wasn't getting on base at this rate right away. He wasn't hitting 293 right away.
Yes,
he was a big.
Probably.
He was a.
I'm
he
just
was
saying,
a big dude.
The Red Sox have 2 Gary Sanchez's on their team.
He was a big dude who every 10 or so plate appearances would hit one 450 feet. That's all Sanchez did. Valdez is looking like a really good hitter. He's looked that way for a couple years now. The Red Sox scored with him and Wilyer Abreu for Christian Vasquez. Maybe it might end up turning, as Valdez's career continues, we may well be looking at this, in 5 years with 2 championships under the Red Sox belt as Chaim Bloom's best move. He's only gonna get better. And you know what? When he came up, he couldn't catch a pop up, and now he's playing a decent second base too. So yeah, I know you don't know who Valdez is yet. I don't expect you to know who he is yet because he hasn't played the Yankees yet, but just know this: he's better than Gleyber Torres.
I have to see him play for this. I've seen some cherry picked numbers there. I'm looking
the slash
at
line.
The guy hit a moonshot.
What was
in
his
San
slash
Diego
line again?
yesterday.
Just really quick, because I got Gary Sanchez is up here. His
For the folks at home who are listening to this, John has a huge smile on his face every time he says this. I want you to know. All right, we're moving on to shortstop.
Every time he says Gary Sanchez, he's grinning from ear to ear. 293, 349, 517, 866.
Okay, Sanchez beat him out on all those. In 53 games, we're talking 299, 376, 657, 1.032. And Gary Sanchez also couldn't field, so they have that in common too.
Luke, shortstop.
So now I want to take back what I was going to say for this. Because John's willing to, so it don't mean nothing, you're a rookie, you've done well until mid-May. Let's just throw it all out, because what's it matter?
Well, Volpe's been playing the whole season. It's not like he's only played 20 games.
So I will take Volpe over Kike. Volpe's average is dreadful. He does have 7 home runs, so he looks like he is a pretty good offensive player, and he's got some power, which obviously that's all the Yankees care about in any way, is if you can hit home runs. So I mean, that's how they build their team. So the fact that he's got 7 home runs already in his rookie year as a shortstop is pretty big. But I mean, for me, it's Kike Hernandez's defense has been awful at shortstop. He's got 9 errors, the most in the league. And Volpe,
there are 9 bad errors too. I mean, none of them are like, oh, the scorer's decision. No, like he just booted every single one of them.
Yeah, a lot of them are in big spots too. Volpe's got 6, so Volpe's a butcher out there too. Volpe doesn't have an excuse though, because he's been playing shortstop his whole life. But we'll move on from that. But Volpe's defense has been awful. Hernandez's defense has been ridiculously dreadful. So I'll give Volpe the edge over there. Because
how good of a center fielder is Anthony Volpe though?
What's that?
How good of a center fielder is Anthony Volpe though? Because
Kike is learning on the fly. Yeah, he's learning on the fly. Like, okay, I'll play shortstop.
Not literally. I don't want John to throw that one out. He's not literally a Gold Glover. All right, anyway, go ahead.
I'll do whatever the team needs me to do. I'll play shortstop. Volpe's like, yeah, this is my position. I've been playing here since Little League. Oh, wow. Well, you still kind of
slow
suck,
down,
Tony.
All right.
Tony, you
First
suck.
off, Volpe is a rookie. He's made a few rookie errors, but his fielding has not been dreadful. It's actually been pretty good for a rookie. Like, yeah, he's going to make his errors. He's not going to – I'm not expecting a Gold Glove out of him this season or maybe ever. I don't know. But, yeah, he has not been dreadful. He's made his errors because he's a rookie, and that's what happens. So, look, the Yankees and Red Sox –
Sounds like Gary Sanchez to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, he does have a 211 batting average. The Yankees and Red Sox, despite being like, two of the best teams in baseball, also have probably two of the weakest shortstops in baseball. I think Volpe has a pretty high ceiling. We're probably not going to see it this season, though. We're certainly not seeing it now. So I think Volpe wins by default. But I do think Volpe's probably a better leader than Kike Hernandez. But if Volpe wins by default, but I don't think either of us are bragging about our shortstops this season.
Well, let's have this discussion again in 2 months when Trevor Story's playing shortstop, and then we'll take this one back.
And then Aaron Hicks is going to be playing for the Devil Rays or the Rays, and he's going to hit a line drive off of Story's hand, and he's going to break his hand, and he's going to be out for the next 2 years.
I want to. Oh, go ahead.
If it's the Rays, then yes, that very well could happen because the Rays are the Jeter of this decade. Everything works out for the Rays always.
Luke, I want to commend you. We talked both about the San Diego series and Red Sox shortstop. Not once did you mention Xander Bogaerts.
Look, Xander sucks right now, and that's concerning for Padres fans because he's not supposed to suck. Let me look at my calendar. He's not supposed to suck for 10 more days. Then he's supposed to suck until September 1st, which is when he turns it on again.
He's basically sucked since like the second week of the season. I mean, the first 5 days he was like the NL MVP, and then he is just like completely. I mean, he's like the Titanic out there.
Yeah, he's supposed to be hitting 345 right now, and by September 1st, he's supposed to be hitting 265, and then at the end of the year. In that last month, tear it up and hit 298 at the end of the season. So, I mean, Padres fans, they sign him. They sign him to that big contract. He gets a cortisone shot in his hand 10 minutes later, and so I don't know. Go with God, but it's all right. Only 10 3/4 more years of this, and you'll be done with Xander Bogaerts.
All right, John. So third base. I know that you are just chomping at the bit to pull out these Rafi numbers. I would like to say that your actual third baseman is on the IL right now. Okay.
Thank God.
And in fact, Derek said this is a better team without Josh Donaldson. He's that terrible. So you get LeMahieu for now. Okay. Go.
I mean, what do you want me to say? I'm sitting here. I'm trying to look for some like bad stats that I could cherry pick for Devers to like really help like LeMahieu out. But I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves. Rafael Devers is the better third baseman. DJ LeMahieu is a good player, solid player, but Devers is better. Even though Devers reminds me of Gary Sanchez.
Devers is fielding really well this year too. I don't know. He went through all of April without making an error. He might have 2 or 3 right now, but I mean he ain't Matt Chapman over there. But I mean he's fielding his position pretty well, and that's Joey for some reason is still unimpressed because of the batting average, but he's leading the league in home runs. He's second or third in RBIs, I'm pretty sure. I mean, he's the gear, the main gear that the whole lineup pivots around. What else can you say? I mean, there's not how many teams. Is there a team with a third baseman in the league where you're like, yeah, that third baseman's better than Devers? Like without much thought.
The Padres, right? Machado plays third base out there.
But would you say, yeah, he's definitely better than Devers? I mean, he's gotten off to a bad start this year too.
In this environment, absolutely. Outside of this environment, maybe I wouldn't.
I think it's tough. Just like we watch Rafi every day, and so like we see. I mean, his first home run in San Diego on Friday night was ridiculous. He damn near fell over. He was so lopsided, and Xander just got a big kick out of it because he was Rafi being Rafi, right? Stuff like that shouldn't be a home run, And then next at bat hits it dead, like literally dead center field in a way that like you're not supposed to be able to hit baseballs. Like we see ridiculous stuff like that all the time, but I don't know if like statistically you could actually like say he's number one. I don't think you could at all, actually.
That's not what I'm not getting at. He's better because all around players, Machado's better, Arenado's better,
Jose Ramirez
is better. But right now, all things considered, history, how everybody's doing right now, including players like Machado and kind of Arenado who have gotten off to slow starts. Like, I mean, I don't really look at any of them right now except maybe Ramirez. I think Ramirez is the only one, and say they are all, they're definitely better than Devers. Better all around players, but as far as bigger forces, bigger presences, like just players that you would rather have on your team. That's kind of I think Ramirez is the only one where there's no debate whatsoever. Ramirez is better.
We're going to continue this conversation next week. Actually, I'm not going to. I won't be here next week, but these guys are going to continue this conversation to discuss the outfield. I think it's going to be a really interesting conversation because obviously the Yankees have Aaron Judge, but if you have this Jarren Duran being the Jarren Duran he thinks he is, and you have Yoshida doing what he does, collectively, I think it's quite the debate. So I'm going to be interested to listen back to what these guys have to say. Boys, we
should maybe do catcher with the outfield just because we did 4 guys today. So we do 3 outfielders and then just throw in the catcher because I don't really want to do the catcher with the pitchers.
Sure.
So, where else are you going to do them?
That's fine. That works. That's the find a spot for DH too. Maybe we should plan this not live on the air, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, guys, you know what? We have 3 minutes left. I'm going to challenge you to wrap this show in under 60 minutes. So if you have any parting thoughts, you can give it to me now.
Literally everybody on the Red Sox right now reminds me of Gary Sanchez.
New York Met, Gary Sanchez. Luke, any final thoughts?
Literally everyone on the Yankees right now reminds me of Ray Sanchez, that bench player, that utility infielder that played like 20 years ago. I don't know. I got
reference for the kids.
I got nothing else. Down with Corey Kluber. Up with Garrett Whitlock. Garrett Whitlock's coming back Saturday. Yes. That's exciting. Garrett Whitlock. We don't say this enough. Garrett Whitlock, returning from injury. Jesus. When's the next injury going to be? Should maybe start a pool, but maybe there won't be another injury coming.
And speaking of that, I didn't mention it. Luis Severino coming back today, having a big start. I think he had like 5 strikeouts and 4 in the 3rd innings. So that was big for the Yankees. It's another big arm that they're going to get back. And I think they're going to limit his innings and pitch count until we get deeper into the season.
I've heard reports that an empty bottle of Elmer's glue was found in Luis Severino's locker after the game.
I'm not even going to let John respond. We're going to wrap it up. All the places you can find Bleacher Brawls. BleacherBrawls.com has Yankees stuff, Red Sox stuff we call Between the Lines, everything else we talk about, all other sports, anything else going on in Major League Baseball. Our YouTube channel, which John doesn't watch, but there are great videos going on over there.
My videos.
He watches himself and does other things while he watches them. And then TikTok, Twitter. What? Popcorn. He's a big fan. It's like movie night at his house. Twitter, @Bleacher Brawl. All those places you find things, you can find Bleacher Brawls. We'll be back later on in the week for the Yankee episode on Wednesday. You got your Sox episode on Friday. This rivalry show will come out next week on Memorial Day. I guess it will be. And so as you drive to your family outing next week, you can listen to the show. In the meantime, rate us 5 stars. Leave us a nice review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Hit subscribe so all these episodes are coming at you. And for Luke, for John, my name is Pat. I guess we'll see you guys next time. All right, folks, that's the latest episode of Bleacher Brawls. Thanks for tuning in, for rating us 5 stars, and leaving us a nice review. And don't forget to check us out on BleacherBrawls.com, on YouTube, and on Twitter.